Hello, everyone. Thank you for letting me spend some time with you before I get too far into this. And I got a lot of territory to cover today. Let me remind you to hit all the right buttons. Right, that's what I'm going to say there. Also, the books are available at authorjerrymitchell.com, or you can go to givegod90.com. Advertisements are done. Got a lot of territory to cover because I said something in the last episode, and I said that it probably deserves its own episode. I need to expand on that. And what I said was, our Creator doesn't make deals; He makes promises. And I started thinking about that, and I know some of you are going to say, "Well, that's dangerous." Yeah, it can be. When I start thinking, you never know what I'm going to come up with, right? There's been a lot of talk, especially in the United States over the last several months, about reaching a deal with Iran, right? The arrangement between the United States and Iran. And Iran has used a lot of that time as a stall tactic. It's tried to rebuild a former semblance of itself, and it's not working. Not going to go there today. But keep that in mind as we dig through this. You might see some parallels here. I was looking at the Hebrew words that are typically translated in the Bible as promise, and I realized that the Hebrew language has actually evolved over the years slightly, right? Not as much as English has, certainly. But there is a slight difference between biblical Hebrew and modern Hebrew. Not a great deal, but some. The word pledge is one that is different. When we pledge something biblically, right, in the biblical definition, is when you pledge something of value must be attached to it. Even if that pledge is our honor, our life, but it typically is going to be some type of physical collateral. A promise, on the other hand, is different in that it is your word. It's simply the words that you speak. And we often see the phrase, the Lord spoke, or thus saith the Lord, but it can also be the Lord said. Couple of different words used in those phrasings in the original Hebrew. Deuteronomy 1:11, may the Lord, the God of your fathers, increase you 1,000 times over and bless you as he has promised. Not going to dig into the linguistics here, not in detail, but the word for promise is often translated as spoke or to speak. Genesis 1:3, and God said, let there be light, and there was light. Different word, but it is sometimes translated in some modern Bibles, English Bibles, as promise. An example of pledge is different. If you look at Genesis 38:18, what pledge should I give you? He asked. And she answered, your seal and your cord and the staff in your hand. See the difference? What pledge should I give you? Your seal, your cord, and the staff in your hand. Now, our Creator's word is his promise. Much like, he speaks to Joshua after the death of Moses to reassure him. It's in Joshua 1, but in Joshua 1:9, have I not commanded you to be strong and courageous? Do not be afraid, do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Wherever you go. That is his word, his promise to Joshua. Now, there are some people that think the covenants that were made are a type of deal. But there is a huge, significant difference. When you're making a deal, there's negotiations. One side gets to say one thing, one side gets to present something else, and there's counter negotiations that go on. Our Creator doesn't allow for that. Even Moses, Exodus 32, beginning in verse 31. Moses returned to the Lord and said, "Oh, what a great sin these people have committed. They've made gods of gold for themselves. Yet now, if you would only forgive their sin, but if not, blot me out of the book you've written." This is Moses attempting to negotiate with the Creator. Verse 33, the Lord replied to Moses, "Whoever sinned against me, I will blot out of my book. Now go, lead the people to the place I described. Behold, my angel will go before you, but on the day I settle accounts," that's Judgment Day, "I will punish them for their sin." No negotiation there. None whatsoever. Our Creator offers us what he offers. It's like a gift, and we can either accept that gift or we can reject his gift. Our Creator offers us things that he knows we need. And we can accept it, we can reject it. There's no negotiation, no stalling for time. Here it is, take it or leave it. That's not a deal. That's different. You can either accept what I'm giving you or you can reject what I'm giving you. Now, there's an opposite to this, just like anything else, right? Logic says if one thing is true, the opposite must be true as well. Have you ever heard the term, "Oh, he made a deal with the devil. She made a deal with the devil," right? You know where I'm going with this, right? Well, maybe not. One of the most famous legends that occur with this is a mediocre guitar player. And there may be other legends that are similar. And there's variations on this. But this mediocre guitar player, he was on his way, and whoever's telling the story, it varies. Some say Nashville, some say New Orleans. Some people say he was in Alabama. Some people say he was in Georgia. It just depends on who's telling the story, right? But he has hitched a ride, and this car stops at this crossroads. And they said, "We're going this way, but you want to go that way. Have a good day." Right? They just drop him off in this crossroads, and he's standing there in this crossroads, and he's looking the direction he wants to go. And he takes a deep breath, and he says out loud, "Oh, if I could just be the best guitar player that, be famous, I would sell my soul." And at that moment, he hears a voice behind him. "Did you really mean that?" He turns around. He knew he was alone, but here's somebody standing there. Happens to be a demon at this time. And he says, "Well, yeah, I meant that. I'd sell my soul to be the best guitar player ever." This demon pulls out this piece of paper and says, "Sign right here. I will make you the best guitar player ever." Now, legends vary again, right? He signs it. Some legends say they bury this deal at the crossroads. Others leave that part out. Just kind of depends on who's telling the story. But as soon as they make the deal, the demon's gone, and he hears another car approaching. It happens to be this big fancy car, and he's going all the way to where this player's going. And when he gets there, he can play that guitar like nobody ever played before. And he became famous. Right? Now, see, there were negotiations that would happen there, I'm willing to sell my soul. You're willing to buy it for this? Okay, we can have this arrangement. You don't want to do that. You do not want to do that. Don't ever do that. Your soul is not yours to sell. It belongs to your Creator. He gave it to you. Right? He gives it to you at conception, by the way. And you can deal with the devil, you can deal with the demon, but you cannot negotiate and cut a deal with the Creator. And that brings me to something that some of you might have tried. I don't know if you've ever tried this or not, where you pray to God. Something happens, right? And it can be something you want that you think is good. It can be something that happened that is bad. And you say, oh, Lord, if you'll just fix this for me, I will do. And you list the things you do. And when it doesn't happen, well, when it doesn't happen, it's like, oh, God said no. Oh, God doesn't answer that prayer. Now, when that occurs, some people say, oh, they'll just accept it. Say, oh, I guess God didn't mean that for me. And other people get angry with God and they say, well, this God isn't real. He can't be. He didn't answer my prayer. And I ask it just like it said in the Bible. You can't do that. In fact, the only real negotiation that happens in the Bible is, God's going to destroy the cities on the plain, right? Sodom and Gomorrah, along with the others. And Abraham at the time says, well, wait a minute. What if there's 50 righteous people that live there? God says, well, I don't know. Well, what if there's 40? What if there's one? What if there's just one righteous person where you still destroy the city? But what happens is that God sent the angel. We know about Lot's wife. There may have been others, but he sent the angel to bring Lot and his family out because they were, well, his wife may not have been, right? She turns around and looks, turns into a pillar of salt. She might not have been righteous. But then he destroys the cities. He saves the righteous and destroys everything else. See, our Creator doesn't make deals. Our Creator doesn't make deals. He makes promises. His word is his promise. And his word is given to us through the prophets. It is available to us. We know what it is. His words are binding if we choose to accept them. Now, you can reject them. Don't recommend it, but you can. You can't, I'm not going to say you can't think about it, right? That's the wrong word there. You can't stall. You can't say, I'll get around to accepting it one of these days. I'll do it one of these days. Yeah. There was a pastor I knew a long time ago who said the secret, if you want to live the way you want to live, is to repent the day before you die. The problem is you don't know when that day is, right? Right? You never know when that day is. So you can't really use it as a stall tactic. I'll get around to it one of these days. Yeah, I know it's true, but I'll get around to it one of these days. We don't have that opportunity to negotiate. We don't have the opportunity to add to his words. We can't subtract from his words. They are what they are. And you don't have the freedom to negotiate with our Creator. We don't get to say, oh God, if you'll do this, I'll do that. He says, no. If you do, if you do, I will. We have to take them for what they are. We have to take them for what they are. If you choose to believe the God of Abraham is the Creator, if you choose to accept the things he's willing to give you, you are legally bound to his words. And I know a lot of people aren't going to like that language, right? Oh, it's legalism. No, it's not. It's simply the way it is. You are bound by your decision. You're bound by your decision. And it's a package deal. He says you take it all or none. You don't get to pick and choose. You know, well, I like this command. I like this command. I don't like that command. I can't do that. And he's saying, no. You get it all or none. This is an all or nothing deal. It's an all or nothing deal. And he doesn't include any religious systems, right? No denominations, no traditions. He simply says, this is how I want to be worshiped. This is how I want you to live. Here are my words. His promise that if we live the way we are designed to live, we will be his people and he will be our God. It's a package deal. Well, I shouldn't say deal there, should I? But you understand what I mean. You take it all or nothing. You take it all or nothing. And he doesn't say, for our Creator, there's no religious systems. There's no Judaism, no Christianity. It's do it my way or your way. He would prefer we did it his way. Because when we do it his way, we accept all that he has to offer. We accept everything. And he will, in turn, treat us as his people. And he will be our God. Something to think about until next time. And until then, I do wish you many, many blessings, everyone.